Hi everybody. Pastor Dennis back here with you again. Thank you so very much for your involvement in the Enjoying God small groups. I hope that you're having an absolutely great time. And these topics that we've been dealing with, they've resonated with me and with an awful lot of people, and I hope with you as well, because who doesn't want love and joy and peace and patience? And then this last weekend we had the opportunity to talk about God's goodness and kindness. And I've been asked why these two are being put together. It was simply a pragmatic issue for me. They're very similar, as we learned, but we had 8 weeks to deal with 9 fruit of the Spirit. And so I put these two together, and I hope that you have discerned and learned why they're so similar. I wanted to just add one additional thought that might involve a little different perspective than what I was able to do because of our limited time. One of the biggest issues that we run into here in our biblical counseling ministry is this whole idea, we talked a little bit about it in terms of these false narratives that get into our head, that somehow God is not good and somehow God is unkind. And I think we've all been through some of those times where we've wondered how God could be good and yet at the same time allow some of these horrible things that happen in our world and in our own individual lives. Well, there's been a passage of Scripture that has helped me not explain everything that God is doing, but to help me better understand God. And it comes out of Paul's letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verses 31 and 32. It simply says this: "What then shall we say to these things? If God is for us, then who is against us?" And then these words: "He who did not spare his own son, but delivered him up for us all, how will he not also with him freely give us all things?" When I can't see everything that God is doing in my life, understand it, appreciate it, I keep going back to this passage that I know that God the Father has given his Son for me. And if he would go to that length to earn my eternal salvation, he's proved that he's for me. Even though I don't understand, even though he doesn't explain himself. He doesn't owe that to me, and oftentimes he keeps it to himself because he has a bigger purpose. And so what I'd like to do is encourage you to go back to this fundamental idea. If you've had any kind of an experience where you've wondered about God's goodness, go back and think about Romans 8:32. He's given his Son. That shows the depth of his love and the full expression of his goodness and kindness. So in many ways, Jesus is kindness incarnate. It's the expression, the proof, if you will, that God indeed does love you. And so I don't know if this verse helps. You've got a number of different questions that you can dialogue about goodness and kindness and all the different passages that we've covered. And I hope that you'll have a great time dialoguing and discussing. I hope by this time that you have learned that the people in your group can be trusted and that you'll take some time to be honest and truthful. Remember, all healing comes from the truth. So may the Lord guide you into the truth as we learn more and be assured in our minds and in our hearts that God is indeed good. So blessings on you. Lord willing, I'll look forward to being back with you next week.